Good morning, good afternoon, hello, wherever in the world you might be tuning into HopEUm from Europe's number one best, most amazing, most incredible, most European League of Legends podcast. My name is Trevor Henry. You may know me as Quickshot, and we have another amazing show in store for you tonight. Towards the end of our conversation, Memento from G2 will be joining us, and we've got some hard-hitting questions for him. Our special guest is a fellow Commonwealth friend in Hysterics, and of course, Kitty will be dialing in just a moment as our official co-host for the remainder of our spring season. One very quick thing just to mention at the very top of the show. If you were watching last week's episode, I did mention and I did bring up that we're going to be speaking to a member of the LCS broadcast team. Kangas was going to be joining us on the show this evening, but unfortunately he has suffered a bereavement in the family. So all love to Kangas, all wishes and thoughts and prayers, to you and everybody around. It's a very tough time, and I can't imagine the difficulty that you're going through. With that being said, welcome to HopEUm. Let's turn our attention to our guests, and let me welcome in Kitty and Hysterics, aka Jake. Good evening and good morning. How are you, Jake?
Oh, not bad, I think. I don't know. I started getting sick last night after broadcast, and my brain is now cooked. So I don't know what's going on, but holy damn, I'm sick for the third time in a month.
I mean, you've got a little toddler. It makes an infant. It makes sense. Kitty, I'm going to try this out because you still live in Australia, and the heathen over there still got that horrible DNA in him. Is it how you're going?
Get out of my heart again! I think you
Oh
have to
dear
just
Lord.
say. Wait, did I mess that one up?
was so good.
No,
I
it
can't
was
believe
just
you didn't
bad.
intro yourself like that, but I had to do it, and I don't have. I just know Harrigan. You just like don't pronounce the space bars in the middle, but I'll let Jake do it
Yep.
properly. Please save me.
No,
This
that was
embarrassment as an
good. It was
Australian.
good. It was just like it's so scary. Like, how's it going? Yours is good, Kitty.
Man.
I just didn't expect it coming out of left wing.
Do you think?
I had to. We're Commonwealth buddies.
Do you think any like the wider variety of European countries even know what that means? Like, there's no, because I think you do have to kind of be English speaking and maybe have like a sport relationship or something. Because the how you going? Oh, g'day, mate. It's quite particular.
Yeah, it is. And I think whenever I don't use the word Commonwealth here because I think a lot of people don't understand. Like, because for me, I always think when people say Commonwealth, I think, oh, like Canada,
South Africa,
South Africa. I was going to say,
Australia.
like
I think
New Zealand.
I think Trinidad and Tobago. That one was a little bit more dicey
That's
recently.
niche. That's
Very good,
super niche.
For anybody that doesn't know, Commonwealth is basically the countries that Britain used to control, and then they used to have like relationships. Like, I have a British passport because I was born in South Africa to British parents. It's weird and wonderful. We're not here to talk about Commonwealth. We are here to talk a little bit about. Let's talk very quickly some personal stuff. Jake, I believe you're a dad. What's it like being a dad in esports? Because there's not many of us yet.
No, it's weird because in the same year it was Azael, Atlas, and me. Towards the end, speaking like I did anything, I didn't do anything. Um, I started 9 months before, and then I was just on patrol. It's great. It's like it's the best thing you'll ever do, but also when the baby comes, your life changes so much, and I don't know. Like now, I'm just like, am I going to sit down and play League of Legends? Okay, baby's asleep. Is my wife here? No. Or if I play this, like, bro, I'm gonna have to dodge. Like, your time management has to be crazy. And with someone with ADHD, my time management's not crazy. It's so bad. So it is just testing me like every single day. She's, almost 5 months old. I'm still getting tested.
I mean, I'm nearly there, and I agree with you.
Yeah, congrats.
We don't do anything; it's our partners, but it'll be a few months for me. Maybe this is a bit personal on camera, but Kitty, I know you're a cat mom. Do you want to be a mom one day?
Cat mom? Well, I'm halfway to becoming a crazy cat lady. For all the people that don't know, I recently adopted a rescue cat, and she is 2 months and very baby. But I do plan on having kids in the future. I come from a Chinese household, and they're very traditional in terms of family. They put family first. So I personally really want a baby girl. and I am aware that
Mm.
Hysterics has a baby girl. So please, have you guys seen those like dads doing product reviews and they're like, all right, so I just got my new product. It's this baby girl. The battery is not so good. It's like 1 hour, and you have to
My
keep up
personal favorite
maintenance.
is the one where they start to do hair stuff first. They're like, this is how you do a braid, and they start to learn it that way.
Yeah, no mute function. And to be fair as well, like I mean, girls are great because they favor their dads. The only problem is when they get older and they realize like who's supplying the milk, then you got a problem. Then you're like, oh sheesh, I've lost all favor.
I did
But
actually
I
read
hope
something that
changes.
apparently, especially during the first couple of months, there's a recommendation to actually put the infant on the opposite side of the bed to the mother if the mom's breastfeeding, because apparently they just smell food. It's like sleeping next to a KFC was the description, and
True.
I'm like, well, I think I can understand that one.
I can understand that completely. And like now, the only way to put her to sleep is like with the smell of her mum's shirt.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's
The thing that I wanted to bring up about this that I find interesting is that I've grown up with League of Legends. Like I've been playing since 2010, 16 years. I've got married, and after a bit of a journey now, my wife is pregnant. I think that story is like shared by a lot of our audience, or at least a lot of the wider audience. But it's so hard because there's also a bunch of young people and new people, and like I just saw, I don't even know what a Jinxie is, but this Jinxie person is all over my feed, and I don't know, and I'm like, I'm so out of touch. But it's just fascinating to me that we can have dads, we can have kids, we can have these new streamers, these older ones. I just find it interesting.
life goes
have
on.
definitely realized that our League of Legends player base is getting older as time passes, and low-key we're reaching that CSGO average age soon, and a lot of the players we have in professional League of Legends are dads as well. You have Evie, I think he has a baby as well, and I think it's only LCP that I know of so far. Kino is also a baby dad. So I'm wondering, what do you guys think about the player average age of League of Legends getting older and older? And is that better for professional players like Faker?
Of course it is, because
Yes.
it means that we're not washed
Yes,
earlier.
yes.
First of all, if you're playing, it's like as Faker gets over 30, you're like, you know what? Maybe I can do it too. Motivation. Second of all, acceptance. Because if they stop accepting people over 30, I mean, first of all the casters across the world are pretty much cooked at this point. And
But also
yeah,
no. But
I wouldn't have a
look
job.
at other sports. Look at other sports, right? Like I think when you look at something like NFL, for example, right? The truly exceptional players, the Faker of NFL, Tom Brady, played until his 40s. Won. He has more Super Bowl rings than any franchise, right? As an individual, right? So hypothetically, if Faker were to ever leave his team and win a world championship with somebody else, he'd have more than anybody else, right? But it takes a long time for that to develop. I have been doing another podcast speaking to like esports industry people. So for example, G2's former Counter-Strike coach is a guy named Taz. He played for Virtus Pro many years ago. I want to say Virtus Plow. Anybody that knows Counter-Strike may be familiar. He's got 2 daughters, and he was still actively playing when he had his first one, coaching for the second, and then winning tournaments. And I was like, it's just weird to me because I'm not used to that yet. There's, especially in Europe, there's not many of the professionals here, players or broadcasters, that are even married. Not that that's an important thing, but like, you know, in the traditionalist sense. So I like the fact that the audience is growing up. Hopefully it means there's more hunger for content. Hopefully it means there's more production people, more journalist people. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the next generation of kids.
It'll be good when we get to like 70 and 80 and see if it's still going, you know, and then all the tattoos of people who get League of Legends tattoos, see if it's relevant or not, and see if their favorite game is still something they can talk about. Because you know how old people now
what's
talk
that
about the old
League
days.
Of Legends
Yep.
tattoo on your arm. It's like, oh,
yeah,
I
we
used
talk
to
about,
name
like-
this champion back in my day.
Back in my day. Yeah.
I like that. Okay, let's turn our attention to League of Legends. We've had a bit of a welcome. Kitty, have you worked with Hysterics in the past? I know you guys both have like an LPL history, but like, have you crossed paths and done stuff together?
This Hysterics guy looks awfully familiar in this exact format because we used to work together online
On the line.
back in my day when I was employed. 2023 LPL English broadcast. So yeah, Welcome back, Hysterics. I fucking missed you.
Thanks. Yeah, no, yeah, I miss you too. I mean, the crazy thing is, you open that up with when I was employed. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, look, I'm unemployed now.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I gotta say, like, that was a crazy year because that was the last year before I came over to Europe. So it's 2023. We were still doing remote, and then they would randomly fly us out for big events. So it was me, Kitty. I think no, Mira was in the mix there. I had Munchables. They literally flew three of us out and were like, "We're gonna bring you, Munchables, and Kitty." And I was like, two of us are play by play.
Yeah.
And they just didn't really understand the concept. And then we did a grand finals in spring where we tried to double play by play just as a concept, and Kitty was the only color. And we're like, "Go on, Kitty!" And we kind of just threw her in the deep end with her first finals live with two play by plays in
It
a
was
format
definitely a
that
lot
had
of
been shown.
energy.
Well, it just wasn't better. I should have just bit the bullet.
I
In
mean, listen,
hindsight.
that's a retro thing. Like Joe Miller and D-Man, both
Mm.
the famously play-by-play duo that worked well before
Remember.
before the audience kind of matured, shall we say? I mean, I was a color caster in the early days, and those were awful days. Very glad that they're behind me.
Yeah.
When did you make your debut? How long have you been casting League? You know, I know Kitty. We spoke recently. Started playing 2016. Started doing content a little bit later. But like Jake, what's your story?
2015, I got picked up by. I mean, I got an email from Pastry Time, and
Oh,
when
wow,
he was in
throwback.
OCE, yeah, it was a massive throwback. Sorry, it was end of 2014. Actually, I had a friend who was like, "Yo, if you go to the OCE forums, they're looking for someone to do the Challenger series," and I recently put up a me casting solo queue on a YouTube like video, like one off, and I was working in community radio in that year. So my friend who was also working with me was like, "Go look at this." I did. Pastry Time messaged me after me sending the clip of some really inappropriate Blitzcrank name casting. And he put me in. He's like, "Let's do a cast," and I did one with him. And I can't remember how bad it was, but it must have been bad, but apparently good enough. And then I did one in front of a producer the next week. And then they're like, "Okay, come in and work a broadcast." And then I worked my first broadcast in 2015 with Rusty, and I did like that
Another
part of OCS.
throwback.
It's crazy time. That was when all the guys were working out of OCE for like LPL, and OPL was running at its peak. So we had Atlas, Papa Smithy. I think Papa was still there at the time. Pastry. Who am I missing? Spawn. Any of the OCE guys, if I missed someone, and of course Rusty got integrated into that as well. And then I think later on, Frost came over. We had Raz come over. We had Dom, Pulse,
I
like
mean,
people
it's
came over
actually
to Australia.
crazy when you think about it. I got to do one All-Stars there, but the
Mm.
melting pot of talent. I mean, Kitty, were you watching a lot of OS? We haven't spoken about this.
Well, I started watching OCE because I had so many friends playing in OCS, which was Challenger Series back in the day, and OPL, which was their Premier League, aka Tier 1 of OCE. So I was cheering for a couple of my friends, and I think my first official content that I made for LCO, because that's when they rebranded because it got handed over to ESL to produce,
Mm.
was 2021, mayhaps. I'm guessing on this one.
Wow.
So I've definitely been around as well. I remember OCS and all of my poor friends getting scammed by these orgs because it's OCE League of
Oh,
Legends.
oh my god, it was bad. Like the drama still I mean, the drama still continued up until I did coaching in 2023. It still happened even in the LCO. Like my organization Vertex, who I used to work with, disreputable, still haven't paid half the team, and it's been 3 years. Like OC was a fire of that stuff.
It sucks so much because it's actually quite commonplace in a lot of the smaller regions. You know, smaller teams,
It is.
less awareness, less common business practices, but also the people like us who are looking for jobs and looking to be employed. It's less commonplace to be like demand the contract up front. It's
Yep.
much harder to actually take things. Okay, fascinating. I think maybe for this may not be the right podcast to be discussing those nuances. So what I will do is
Anyone a lawyer?
just before I do know some good ones though. Just before we move on to LEC, let's talk about some of our favorite OS memories. I'll tell you one that I have. I think Worlds 2020 maybe or 2021. I got taught what the word send it mean in full send because of Mammoth. I think whichever year Mammoth was there. I heard the place saying it. I had to ask on air, and I've always been a little bit out of touch with like the memes and like the 6-7 bullshit. And yeah, I just remember the guys teaching me some of that. Kitty, favorite OS memory at the international stage?
Oh god, favorite OS memory? Probably Pabu with his neon green hair at MSI. I think it was
Mm.
the first time OC ever made top 8. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it was due to very unfortunate circumstances of like VCS not being able to participate due to COVID and then like NA shitting themselves again or something. But OCE did make top 8 and it was quite incredible because Australia is not the best at League of Legends when it comes
That's
to these
why OS
international
got folded
stages.
into LCS. That's why they became one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
everyone called Pabu the tennis ball guy from at least the Chinese forum
Mm-hmm.
because he had this neon green hair, and I'm like, wait, that makes so much sense. By the way, he literally looks like a tennis ball. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite for OC on the internationals.
Jake.
Oh my god. Okay, so for me, mine's super niche, right? Because I watch people like Fudge get into the main league. I watch Pabu on Trident promote. Because I remember Pabu, I think it might have been in 2018 or a previous year. I remember he played like Echo Top as one of his games to promote into the league, which at the time was not so niche, but still really cool. Uh, from OCE, I always remember you gotta the year's gonna fade me or elude me rather, but Schernfire got banned for the first 2 days out of like an MSI, right? And he said something in solo queue. So they brought in Udisoft, the GOAT. If he's what shout out to
Was he
Udisoft.
coaching or sub at the time?
I can't I think he might have been the coach. I can't remember. But he came in and played, and obviously he wasn't that great, but his energy was really good. But he kind of got bodied, but he was like smiling after the game, and he was so happy. And I gotta remember the year, but like it was the best sub in because it was like, okay, Surefire obviously would have done better, but there's this guy with this great energy that joined in on Direwolves. I believe it was the Direwolves roster
Yeah.
and filled in when they had no one. So
Is there
shout
is
out to
there
Ubisoft.
anything more Australian than having a temporary ban because of language? I mean,
Mm,
let's be honest
mm.
now.
Oh man, dude, those servers, the OC server, and Kitty, I don't know if you stopped. I don't know if you're still playing NA because I remember back in the day you used to play NA server. Even when they released OC servers, there's a call out, and you're on 140 ping. I'm like, what are you doing? But if you're playing OC now, it's still I think one of the worst servers. I think EU West clears it. I think it's like less toxic and better to play in.
Less toxic.
Yes.
L9 people send it on Hysterics. Go get his ass.
OC's server is the worst. It takes
We'll
5 minutes
teach
for
you
a
guys.
gold queue. Like
It's
I'm literally in the
true.
middle.
I know.
No players.
I unfortunately am still stuck in Australia, so I am banished to playing OC League of Legends slash solo queue. And I was actually really into League this year. I went back to grinding my rank and I hit pretty high. I was pretty close to 1k LP, which was around
Sheesh.
100 LP off Challenger OC. Oh my god, the OC Challenger is
counts.
literally bronze in EU,
No,
whatever.
No,
Nah,
that's
nah,
not how
nah.
that counts. That's not how that counts. That's kudos. Absolute kudos.
That's big.
I don't even
Huge.
think I'd be able to get out of platinum in OS. I don't think so because I couldn't get out of gold in Europe. I didn't. I didn't.
I
try.
could not.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, I tell you what. Let's move ourselves on. Let's talk a little bit about LEC because I had a ton of fun watching this week, and we've got a really fun animation that'll move us into recap. Kitty, where should we start with our LEC conversation?
Where should we start? Well, playoffs are locked for spring 2026. I think that's really interesting and fun to talk about. So let's quickly remind everyone of all the teams that are locked for playoffs. We have Vitality, KC, Navi, G2, MKOI, and GX. So that means these teams will only be playing for standings in the upcoming weeks of LEC. And the teams that have been unfortunately eliminated include Fnatic, SK, Shifters, and Team Heretics.
Question. You used the word unfortunately. I don't think it's unfortunate that those 4 teams were eliminated. Sorry.
Oh, agreed.
Well, let's get started with the most unfortunate case, I think. Fnatic didn't make playoffs, and I was on the internet looking at some stats, and apparently the last time Fnatic didn't make groups was 2023 spring.
Yep.
So
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. It was
happened, guys.
it's crazy. 3 years, right? Like Fnatic are I mean, it's a bit of a bombshell because I mean, I don't know how deep you want to go into this, but their top laner, I feel bad for because he's like, he needs a lot more experience. Empros did have a really good Cassandra game, really good Ornn game versus their last matchup against Vitality, which is a game I cast. But, like, bro, this team, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with Razork. Like, I feel like Upset's 1v9ing. It's just, I cast these games. I cast Fnatic, and I get so tilted because I see the potential and I see, like, the veterancy. And then I'm like, bro, what do they want to do? Like, are they just not talking to each other or what's going on? I have no clue.
I mean, not only just that, right? Like, I kind of got a bit excited at the potential that Fnatic could have with, was it Vladdy and Empress at the beginning of the year? I saw some hype the first couple of games, but obviously the versus split, everybody was looking a bit mid and a bit meh.
Yep.
My bigger thing is, on the topic of Fnatic not making playoffs, on the topic of Fnatic being in this massive performance drought, as an organization, there are players that have come through their house, have come through the team, that have gone on to be mainstays, some of the most well respected, some of the most impressive players in the region. And I just don't quite understand how a team like G2 can bench Yankos for a rookie and do well, and like Fnatic hasn't found that. You know, like that's what disappoints me. It's like the bigger picture. I'm not terribly surprised that like SK Shifters and Heretics are faltering, right? But I'm just the history and the potential that's there when you do see a player like Upset. I'm like, come on, guys, why is it just like not working? Razork also has been off his game. I just don't think Razork has had the impact, the consistency that we saw from him in the past.
Oh, horrible. So, I mean, I have a lot of respect for Razork as well. Like, Razork had this dynamic, right? And the old Fnatic had this dynamic. And that's what you saw a little bit yesterday versus Vitality is like, we play through bot. You know, like Razork's like literally like, I'm gonna clear, I'm gonna look bot. I'm gonna reset, I'm gonna look bot. It's literally just all about the road to bot. And especially when you have Upset, I don't understand the full intricacies of why they don't play this dynamic, especially when dragon stacking is still so important. But like, yeah, I mean, I see there, like you're looking at Upset's game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a 1v9 carry, but yeah, I mean,
it just doesn't happen again. It doesn't happen again.
They shut him down. They dove bot early, and they were literally like, for Vitality, we're like, let's make sure he can't do it again and can't play this game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Upset pretty much needs to be playing like 1v9 at this point for Fnatic to ever win. And the unfortunate truth is, I don't think Vladdy is pulling up his weight either. I was super impressed by Vladdy back in 2025 KC, and I thought he was low-key the second best player after Kana once they won Winter, and now I just don't see the same Vladdy anymore. I also don't really agree with some of Fnatic's drafting in that game.
Oh my god, the Gnar. I'll just say
we
it.
gotta talk about it, guys. The Gnar into Vayne blind is quite atrocious.
Varus.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, into the Varus. A ranged top laner. Yeah, it's rough. It's never gonna be a good time for Empress. I know he looked so bad, but like, come on, we could have flexed the Neferi to top lane. We could have played Neferi into Varus.
Could have played the Malphite. Could have literally just picked the Malphite, lose lane, and win game.
I thought your brain broke, Jake. I thought your brain broke because you and Vedi were like, it's Malphite, it's Malphite. You both got so excited. Gnar got locked in. I think Vedi laughed, and I think you cried.
I think I was so disappointed. At the start of the game, the first 3 minutes, they're just us rationalizing the Gnar. Not even, we're just like, Betty's like, I don't understand it at all. And then you're 10 minutes in and it's 2,000 gold down. And then you're 15 minutes in and it's 3,000 gold down. You're like, well, yeah, like Razork has to set up a tent, but even so, Empress could never play the lane and the lane got frozen and then he had to roam and he couldn't do it. Like, oh my God, my brain did break.
I think what I will say on the flip side, right? So if Fnatic consistently finds a way to be disappointed, there was a meme a few weeks ago. I actually don't know if you were on the show yet, Kitty. And Jake, you definitely wouldn't have seen it. But Brees, our Italian co-streamer, basically said that G2...
#1 Fnatic fan.
...intentionally lost to Fnatic to give false hope and to make people believe that there was a chance. Only so when this moment happened, it stung even more. And I'm like, bro, that's such a dark thing to say. But conversely, right, with Fnatic obviously doing things, I still keep getting excited by Na'Vi. I'm one of Navi's biggest fans. I really like what they're doing as a team. I've fallen in love with Relish as a player, and when I think about that Nako Varus game in particular, the thing that I really liked about it is it does show just how when Nako can get ahead against a player that he clearly has an advantage over, he can take over the game just like Relish can, right? But I still think Nako needs a little bit more refinement because I don't think he can do that against Khan. I don't think he can do that against Broken Blade, like consistently, that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think refinement though is not in his nature. That's the best part. Like, and if we're just like diverting to vitality, I will just say like, I mean, they are so scrappy, but they have the hands, and that's what makes them such an exciting team at the moment. I want to quickly bounce back to your excitement on Navi because I had this last split because I, excuse me, I was really selling them as like, yo, everyone's on the Lost Returners hype, and granted, it was a really cool story, but then they got out and everyone's like, I don't want to watch LEC anymore, and I'm like, guys, you've missed the biggest like seal in the room, which was Navi and their story and how exciting they were. And they've had to redefine their playstyle because they were this one-dimensional team of we play towards dragon stacking and that gives us control for the rest of the game. But then when they lose that, it's like, well, they don't know how to divert, right? And so I think they've kind of learned like how can we have stronger lanes? Like how do we kind of elevate, like Poby needs to kind of step up a little bit as well. And when we can't be this one dynamic team. And that's what made Navi so interesting. This split is like they have developed, but they are still a great early game team that still just needs to figure out like, yo, how do we pave this road through mid game? Because man, their mid games are so messy. They're so sloppy. The early games look fantastic.
I mean, there was the most recent G2 Navi series that we saw for this week, and it was quite the clean 2-0. I would say it's a 2-0 clean sweep by G2. And I believe they are currently on an 8-game win streak going into next week. So they haven't dropped a single game since the Fnatic series where they lost. I actually quickly wanted to add, I saw this tweet and the tweet said, maybe Fnatic became the worst team in the region because they realized that G2 only lose to the worst teams in the region after their internationals. So that was the only way to ever defeat G2.
There's only one flaw in the logic. There's only one flaw in that logic. One flaw. They're not the worst team in the region because both Shifters and Heretics exist, right? I'm sorry.
Heretics now. The Shifters, I want to give them their due. Since Shayo's come in, they actually look like they could be a top 4 team next split.
Oh,
like,
bro, no, you're full of shit. Top 4 team next year?
No,
next split?
Dude,
no.
Split. Listen. The MCOY series was actually not bad.
Yeah, but you're picking a team that's middle of the pack. MCOY are not a top tier team. If Shayo could do that,
we don't know yet.
Kate, what do you mean we don't know? I've seen them play.
They've got 3 series in their home ground to play.
And they're going to shit the bed. And they're going to drop out of playoffs in like the first round.
Oh, history
Shifters
proves
is quite
otherwise.
rough.
Let's open the logs. I got a minute.
I think KC is going to turn Madrid into a library next week. And I will say this. Before I steal all like we have a special section at the top that says preview. We'll save this a tiny bit. I will keep saying that on the topic of Shifters, I continue to be disappointed. This podcast has played that Disney Pixar meme a few times. Are you familiar with it, Jake? Bump,
No,
bump, bump. You can visualize it. You know, with Pixar, and then a lamp jumps up, right?
On the F, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it says a different word. But it's like, dude, from what BDS was doing, and look, don't get me wrong, BDS kind of like peaked, and then they started to stumble, and that stumble has turned into a monumental drop. And then Heretics, when you see how the roster swaps have gone, and you hear how the organization is chatting a little, like, it's super tough. I don't want to be too mean, obviously, because there's still people behind the keyboards and mouses, but they're just not performing well. And as much as I like to flame Fnatic because it's fun, they are not the worst teams in the league, not by far. And I think Jake is mad if he thinks Shifters are going to be. I think you're mad.
I think that when was the last time in LEC you could say someone in their role was in a top 3 position on a team that was bottom 2?
Upsetting pretty much every team he's played. Sorry.
But even on the KC days when he was like when they were 2-7 or whatever the split finish was, I don't think Upset was a top 3.
I know what you mean. I think I'm being a bit facetious. I think that's a fair point. I just think you've got a really strong take after a
Brewster
couple of
Paddock
games.
are insane. No. I think Shea's changed
Hysterics,
the
you
team.
should
I
be
think
used to this. The jungle honeymoon period where BLG literally switched out 3 different junglers. They did well for
Oh,
2 weeks maximum, and then they completely bombed out at Worlds with the most embarrassing exit of all time for an LPL team at World Swiss stage. Like, come on. You know this Sheo narrative?
yeah, but the bar's not that high. We're talking LEC versus BLG,
What do
limits
you
of
mean?
the world.
LEC is technically the second best region after you guys won against
that is true.
LCK.
But the LPL's the best region. LPL's the best
Yeah,
region, so
true.
it's another bar.
Listen,
Another bar, and it
you
was
two are
BLG.
so biased. You're on a European podcast. You're casting the European. I don't care if you love LPL. Put your flag in the ground,
good.
damn it. We're no.
I did for shifters. My flags there, and I didn't even like them. I've used the word shit on broadcast a couple of times, and I've called them out, and I've been tilted by their games. But the last 2 series were genuinely impressive for a team that sucked. So
I will give them that.
I'm
I
happy.
do think shifters, ever since they got that stress off their chests where they were out of playoffs, they low-key started playing better. Like they
Or it
need
was
to-
Sheo.
Oh, I'm
Why not both?
and a half, I think. I do think because we heard this interview from Trimby. Trimby said during the middle of the game, he said maybe currently we don't have the pressure from getting eliminated from playoffs, so we're just playing with no stress whatsoever in this series. And they were able to take games off MCOY, and they were even able to win and get their first goddamn series win in the split. So I think they need a better. What is it? Was a therapist? They need a therapist. We need
Or
Nuke off
headspace.
Twitter, and maybe Hysterics' theory is valid.
I will give the benefit of the doubt for a little while. There's no ways in hell they're going to be a top 3 or top 4 team. Not a chance. Prediction made. However, it can't get worse, so it's going to go up. I'll give you that. I also will say this. 2 things. Number 1, thank you for actually watching those mid-game interviews on your stream, Giddy, because I really enjoy them. And there's too many fans that like complain about players being chat. I love it.
That's good.
Trimby's one of my favorite players of all time. I love the stint that he did over in Brazil. I'm really happy that he's back. I was very hopeful at the beginning of the year that the leadership would have led to a little bit more. Sad that it hasn't. Same token, old faces that are interesting to watch and talk about. SK Gaming. I still don't know if I love them or I love to hate them. But I know I like talking about them and watching it because it's always somewhat interesting. But that doesn't mean good.
Yeah, because I mean, we have this thing we have a chart, right? So shout out to Molecule, does all the stats in the background, and every week we get a stats document. And every week I would go and look at the solo isolated deaths of SK members. And Wonder, last time I checked, was almost at 20. Leader was like the mid-teen somewhere. And somehow Yopper was the highest of his role. Now, remember, 80 carry solo.
What's the gap? What's the gap? Because if it's 20, what's second? How big is it? Pull up the doc. Come on.
Oh, I'm going to have to, hang on. I'm going to have to go to my Google Drive. I'm going to have to look, because the gap was like 10.
Were they good
last time I
deaths?
checked.
No. The third lowest team. But I do like the question. But I'm a big fan of that because like 20 isolated deaths is one thing, but who's next?
Yeah.
How much worse is it?
Okay, so I've got it up. Isolated deaths. Oh my god, it's 28.
It's a
28
bit
for
worse than
Wonder.
20.
Next lowest is Broken Blade at 19. That's isolated deaths as of week 5, before this weekend that we just had.
How far down does the table go, roughly?
It goes. I mean, I've got all individual roles.
Okay, so what's the average then? What's the average? Because like, is BB like also high?
Yeah, BB's quite high because
Okay.
we've got Nucko at 17.
Okay.
And we've got Mirwin at 15.
Okay.
But then there's like a lot of other players, like Rooster's on 4, for example, which is kind of crazy.
I'm a bit of I always love those documents. It was always one of my favorite things, especially that's where like quick stats came from. But the fact that by the time you get to the 4th highest amount of isolated deaths, it's half of what Wonder's at.
It is.
That's crazy.
And I told
Maybe
you,
it's the
leaders
Mickey
at 22,
effect.
by the way. leaders at 22. The next highest is 12 at Saren. So
Oh no, it's contagious.
yeah, Yopper 10 most in his role.
What do you think
shout-outs.
about SK as a whole, though, Jake? Because other than leaders pick champs and kind of the team just kind of playing like old men.
Yeah, like my okay, so my problem with SK is obviously not going to be drafts because it's fun, it's exciting to talk about, but like my problem is that they just don't have strong enough laners. I mean, I think Wonder had like a couple of good games, and he's willing to counterpick. For example, he got the Kennen into Renekton matchup, which is just so easy for the Kennen, and then he ran the game. I think it was week 1 or week 2. One of their earlier matchups. It might have been versus Shifters in week 2. But I think the problem is their lane dynamics are not strong. It is similar to Fnatic, right? Where Leader and Wonder as laners in the league, when we have so many good mid laners and top laners, just don't cut it. And then they've got this really strong bot lane prospect, or in Fnatic's case, like someone who's been proven like Upset. And then they either don't play around him enough, or they kind of rely on like getting to the mid game with these disadvantages. And then they're just like, you know what? Now we're going to fight, and we're going to hope that Yoppa can carry. And,
Yeah.
rarely does he. So
He's not exactly set up for
Yeah.
success either, especially when you got
he's
like
not. That's
how,
right.
how does Yoppa carry when you've got Zeds that are not doing particularly well, and etc. etc.
I mean, at least Leader did end up pulling out his really interesting picks. I saw Echo mid, I saw Aurelia, I saw Zed. Let the old man play what he wants, because that was the whole reason why they brought
Yeah.
Leader back into the LEC. They were like, okay, so Leader's gonna bring all these
But
melee assassins.
but if it doesn't work,
And Fearless, just think about
Yeah.
the opportunity, the potential. But in reality, I gave SK a name. I feel kind of mean for it. It's Mickey Mouse Clubhouse org, because poor Mickey really wanted this roster to work. I also felt like this roster had potential. I was honestly also very impressed by Yoppa as their
Yeah.
more rookie player coming into the roster, and he was pretty much standing his ground in a lot of those messy games, despite what the rest of SK was doing, hitting 28 isolated deaths in their top lane, which is, top lane is just an island.
I'm not
However,
witty enough. I'm not witty enough, but like Mickey Mouse retirement home, Mickey Mouse dementia
Retirement
dome, Mickey, like there's something a bit more brutal there that maybe someone can help us figure out. Sorry,
True.
I like so many of the SK guys. I'm sorry, but it's for the content.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also true. They're great. They're great people. You're right. And really nice people. And like Mickey's a legend. If anyone's met Mickey, like he's quite genuine. He's straightforward. There's not a bad meaning in that guy's bones. But the project didn't work, and I don't know if it's going to be nuked for summer, but it's got to be broken up at some point soon, because I just don't think.
The power friendship didn't prevail.
Yeah.
So sad. I do want to quickly move us on because we have a huge week coming up, especially Hysterics. It's going to be
True.
the Madrid roadshow for all the people. There's going to be a
Yeah.
second roadshow in the LEC. I'm so flipping jealous. You guys are traveling everywhere across Europe.
Oh, it's good.
And I really wanted to quickly talk about just the remaining teams that we have in the LEC. Once again, it's Vitality, KC, Navi, G2, MKOI, and GX. My main question for Hysterics, and then we'll go over to Trevor. Which team do you think will do some surprising results or have surprising results?
Well, what do you think is surprising? Because a lot of people, even though Vitality are first, think that Vitality won't make it to MSI, and completely fair. Like trust issues with a team that doesn't cleanly close it out, that has gone to game 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times out of 9, by the way. So in 66% of their games, they go to as the top team currently. I mean, I think the surprise of the split has to be Vitality, or it's just G2 making finals again. But that's not a surprise. That's a problem.
I think I'm with you, and I think my take on Vitality is going to be whether or not they can make it to a game 5 and win a game 5 in playoffs, right? Because KC pushed G2 to 5 games in versus. Admittedly, I think it's G2 lost game 3 and game 4, right? But KC were good enough to capitalize. Then they just completely choked in game 5.
Yep.
I only have a little bit of nervous around Vitality in terms of, did they peak too early? Have they shown too many cards, right? Like there's potential to exploit them. But the thing is, they do still generate a lot of leads. They have still earned those wins. They have still legitimately locked in. I think they're locked for first place, unless I'm mistaken.
They're locked for top 2 from memory of what I was saying yesterday. Or it's either top 4. Actually, it depends on. I think I'm right. I think they're locked for top 2.
That
from yesterday. Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, 8-1, and then I guess if Carmen Call go 3-0 this week, they'll be 9-0, and then I don't think
Yep.
anybody can chase them, right? So that's the other thing for me. I still don't know if I think KC are the second best team or the best team. Let's just assume in my head, G2, Vitality, and KC are the three teams in conversation.
Yeah.
I still don't know how I feel about KC because I just haven't watched them enough. It's so sporadic, you know.
Do you think after the weekend, because you know that weekend we just had in Every,
Yeah.
like it started really good, but then the Shifters Fnatic series and even the second game of the Navi series, like I don't think KC was showing as the best team. Like I asked a question at the end of the broadcast, I was like, you know, are KC the best team? And I asked it open ended because I was like, we thought they were, but their play wasn't actually that clean. Like they dropped the ball a lot at their own roadshow.
Kitty, what's your answer before I jump in?
Fair enough. I think Vitality will be different this split. I'm praying that they will be different this split because I made myself a rule that I think when I first joined the podcast, I said, I'm never believing GX. I'm never believing Vitality. They're going to love bomb us for like the seventh time since they've
Okay.
been in LEC because for some reason, once it gets to those best of threes in the playoffs, once it gets to best of fives, they just start choking. Well, it's not like they choke. It's more like their weaknesses get exposed a bit more. However, on GX's side, I cannot vouch for them because I genuinely think they have incredibly bad nerves when it comes to the P word playoffs. So I can't be Noah and Jun lawyers for this third year in a row. Maybe the Fnatic roster was a bit of a shame from back in the day. Anyway, I think my
You're
biggest
just tilted.
I'm
You're just
tilted. I'm
tilted on
so
all these.
tilted.
I literally
Noah
asked you
and
about
Jun
KC as
will
well, and you're just like, I want to be
I-
tilted at Vitality first. I want to be tilted at Giant X.
I think though the KC Giant X, the KC Vitality conversation is actually a good one because
Mhm.
in Barcelona, KC came in and dumpstered GX 3-0 on the Friday.
Yep.
But I think two things are true. KC played very well, and then Giant X choked because of the P word and playoffs performance. I think as well there's something to do with experience. There's something to do with leadership. Like I think you need a Jojo Pune type of character, in my opinion, on that
Yep.
roster to help fire them up. I think you need something like that. You need, and I don't see it. You know, when I think about Navi and I see it's Memento in the top lane and Rilech, when I think about them and I think about their interviews, there's a hunger, there's a cockiness behind their eyes that's earned. But KC also went to 5 games against Koi, went to 5 games against G2. Yes, KC are also looking messy, but Koi are doing exactly the same thing, and you're like hyping up Koi. So how can you be excited for KC and be like, oh, Koi are going to 3 games all the time too, but you believe in them more? I believe in KC more than I believe in Koi going into.
I mean,
week
it's
7.
because Shifters and Fnatic are bottom of the barrel, and yes, again, Shifters at the Roadshow were cooking a little bit and getting better, and I do believe the Shifters. What I said before, it's not propaganda; it's legit. The KC story, like they were botching a little bit, and like I can't remember. It was only because Yikes stole Baron in game against Fnatic in game 2 as his Kha'Zix that they got to go to a game 3 and then eventually stomp. So it's like it's not like KC looked looked perfect all round at their own weekend in front of their own crowd, which they talked about giving motivation. Yes, there were some really big highlight moments, and people like Busio are still popping off. But I don't think you can look at KC's recent performance and be like, oh yeah, like they're not unquestionably infallible. You know what I'm trying to say, but not getting to the point.
But then hang on, you're saying Koi greater than Shifters is more impressive than KC greater than Navi. But that's because you're buying into the Shifters hype. That's nonsense. Like
no, but recent former Shifters greater than Koi. I mean,
Yeah.
no, not greater than Koi. Commendable to Koi. I still think Koi is a top 4 team. Like I'm not going to put Navi in there yet because I don't know if Navi's actually good enough to contend with the lanes. Like if I put them pound to pound in the best of 5, you're telling me that you think Poby won't get slapped by Jojo, current form, that Super and Alvaro who have kind of shaped up from the early weeks of Super just getting caught out nonstop in the series that we saw yesterday, even versus Shifters. I'll say that like Super had an insane performance, and then yeah, okay, Mirwin at the moment I'm not too sold. Actually, I think Memento might be okay because Mirwin's a question mark, but he is cooking again. He's cooking in the top lane. Anyway,
Okay, let him
sorry.
cook. I do want to quickly grab the conversation because we did have
Please.
Trevor mention Jojo earlier, and
Mm.
he was saying that maybe having a teammate like Jojo could help the overall team performance. And I did recently see this take by Vedius, the caster from the LEC, in quotations. I think that Jojo is the best performing mid laner in the league, and I even think that's based on what I've seen. He might be the best player in the league. This is quite the hot take. In my opinion, it is a very interesting take due to the current status of MCOY and how they are showing up to all of these LEC games. But Hysterics, you're already like quite expressive right now. So what do you have to say to this statement?
I mean, Betty, you are my colleague. You are my colleague, and you say things, and you said it on broadcast, and that's his belief. And you know what? I respect it. And to be fair, Jojo is a psychopath in lane. He's getting more and more confident, and like even yesterday, if you watch the micro of his play, like his brain is just snapping to it. Dodge from seismic shove, gets ulti out so he can escape. Instant flash away. Like his transition of play is getting quicker and quicker. If you just compare from when he first joined the league to now, when he first joined the league, he was whiffing. The guy's lane was okay, but it was like still only top 4. Now I think he's the best mid laner in terms of lane quality. He always comes out with the CSD, 10, 15 CSD. I mean, I've got a stat stock open. Hang on a minute. Let's have a look. I can literally prove this right now. Jojo CSD average at 14 is 18. 17.9 technically.
That is
18
wild.
CSD is crazy. That is like, I'm trying to think of Cap's peak years. Trevor, you probably know this better than I, but like we are talking some of the best mid lane performances in terms of the actual lane.
The thing that's really
all
challenging
time.
about it though is I think that's going to be up there. That might be like top 5 mid lane CSD for a regular season, potentially ever. You should make that as a question, by the way, for next week's games. If you're going to Madrid.
Thank you.
I don't know if I would be as bold as to say the best player in the league. I understand why, though. I understand why, because as a team, Koi have got a few things that are question marks, a few things that are not certain. But then I look at like the impact that somebody like Skumon has, for example, and I look at what he did in Versus, and I think you can make an argument that even the games like Skumon doesn't pop off and completely can dominate, he might be somebody that I'd be looking at as like best performing player in 2026 in Europe.
Yep.
Like that's one of the names that I go to.
Yeah, I mean, I like for this split. I mean, of course, it's hard because we didn't see them for 2 weeks, and then we only saw them versus Na'Vi, and then I feel like it was a bit of like Cap show. Broken Blade kind of showed up again, and like him on tanks. Thank you. I know we haven't started talking about G2 yet. Also, Hans Sama. Holy crap! Him and LeBrob had an insane best of 3. Like, they're wild. Like G2's back, but at the moment, best in the league. To give Vedius his due, I see the angle as well. I can completely agree with the reasoning. However, it is really hard when someone like Nako is dumpster firing everyone in the top lane, and Vitality are doing so well, but actually because 90% of the games is split have come off the back of his lead, which, by the way, like if we're talking about a CSD, I don't have it in top lane stats, but I do have like solo kills at 11.
Well,
I do have CSD. Actually, there it is, 7.3, almost as much as Rooster,
Okay.
who's also been crazy.
Let me do this. I'm going to ask everybody that is watching on respective chats. It would be great to have this conversation. Like, let us know on Reddit, let us know on Twitter, let us know if you are watching. We have YouTube, we have VODs, we're on Twitch, we're also on Spotify. Small plug quickly because I can see that Memento will be joining us in the not too distant future. Just before he does, we're going to start with ladies first. Who is your first, second, and third teams from LEC Spring when you look at all 6 teams in playoffs? Who wins? Who comes second? Who comes third?
Oh, Jesus, because the first 2 get to go to MSI in Korea this year, so it's quite the important first 2 places. I am going to be a firm believer that G2 will always be G2 in playoffs, and they will probably, with a pretty confident say, end first place. I'm praying on this. My mental health is on the line for this when I watch these G2 games.
Who's second and who's third?
And second, quickly, I'm gonna give it to Casey. I really want to see Casey back on the international. I'm sorry, Vitality. Y'all can go to Worlds. Casey, let's go to Korea. You guys have Korean printed at the back of your jersey. I know you guys are locked in, and you guys also want to go to Korea. Bring Kana and Yahoo back.
Jake?
Okay. Number one is, I mean, look, this is a G2 podcast, and I didn't come on here to be biased. Like, if I was being honest, if I looked at the regular season of every G2 regular season, I would go into playoffs saying, no, they're not going to make it. And there were, there were non-believers last split. There were non-believers. I think even last year, we had it. I mean, look, we have it every bloody split, don't we?
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to me they can finish 7th and then go to versus and then go to first stand and be the best team outside of BLG. But again, it's G2. G2's number one. I think they'll just have a crazy playoffs run. I can see Caps as like moving into peak form again. You already mentioned Skumon, Broken Blade on tanks. I think role playing Broken Blade in playoffs is what I want to see. And then when you see that Labrov is like on this Lulu pick is so damn clean, you're like, okay, well, they're obviously stop mucking around now. I don't know if they're just on having what the Germans call Urlaub for the regular season, but they're on holiday and then they come back. G2 number one, it's super easy for me, and I want to believe in Vitality, and I will believe in Vitality. I think this time, like Kazi is getting a lot of the hands without the int because that guy would just send it in previous splits and you wouldn't get both sides consistently. I think this time you are getting a lot of the high threshold. Humanoid, as we saw on Syndra, but we've seen many games this split. Humanoid is back, by the way. So
He is.
Lince
We are
is the best
noticing.
jungler in the league outside of Skum. Well, I mean, Skumon's got more games to play, so he can prove that this weekend. Lince is my favorite jungler of the league right now, and I think the best because Relech is not consistently playing like the Kianas and the carries all the time. And I think Yike has had ups and downs. I'm sending it. I think Vitality second.
So we got G2 KC, G2 Vitality. I think those are the smart choices. I don't see a world in which Koi gets up there. GX are definitely not making it. I think G2 still wins the split. I have full faith in them. And my heart wants Na'Vi to be second.
Bruh.
I have
dying on
so
this
much
hill.
turmoil. I have so much turmoil. I like, and I really think that for the scene as a whole, I think an organization like Na'Vi coming in and in their first year being able to make it to MSI with players that are relative unknowns in the grand scheme of things, with the hunger that I see from them and I hear from them, I think that's a good sign. I think that's what I want. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't think it will happen because I don't know if they're going to step up to KC.
They're a great
Koi,
story. I agree.
I want Na'Vi. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I also am just a massive fan of the Counter-Strike team. I'm in love with Counter-Strike at the moment. That's my main game right now.
What about the Vitality team? Best of all time.
Correct. I just don't have as much love because I historically,
Hey, as a Ukrainian, I agree, bro. I
listen,
love the support.
it was Menta who did that interview, right? If remind me who's the Ukrainian on it is Menta. Yes,
It's Menta, yeah.
Dude, Menta in week 1 of Versus. This is a long time ago.
Mhm.
When he talked about being on Na'Vi and playing for Na'Vi was huge. Okay, what I love about this is we actually have our interview ready. I think, are we going to be using vMix for this one from our producer? If the answer is yes, that means we're going to mute our microphones in Discord. We're going to say hello to Memento, and let's make sure we unmute the tabs on our call.
Okay.
We're going to pull in my good friend
Hello, guys.
Memento. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. It's nice to see you guys again. I guess I didn't see Hysterics, so that's the first time I've seen him. So
I see you
nice
in
to
the
meet you too.
studio, bro, but I don't.
But you never say hello, like it's not.
No,
kinda like
but
that.
I don't say. I don't want to interact with it because I get
One
scared
quick
of
thing,
it.
I actually can't hear Hysterics, so I think maybe we do
Oh,
need to unmute on Discord.
sheesh.
I may have
Yeah,
given the wrong order. There we
we're miming a
go.
little bit here. We
It
can
can't
hear
be my fault.
Memento, so that's great. I was trying to
I'm s-
pretend I was
Now-
understanding right there,
Now
but
listen.
Okay.
Listen. You can hear me now. I'm sorry. I try not to interact with players or teams or staff without them interacting with me first because I don't want to take you out of the zone or like distract you, or you go on stage and
The
be like,
zone.
"Yo, he gave me a weird look,"
Damn.
and it's his fault we're losing.
No, you just do one like a quick one, like, and then you just pass by.
Do I not?
We
do I
don't
not
need to
do that?
speak.
I swear I do
Just-
that.
Just a
Okay.
quick one,
I-
That's enough.
Memento,
That's
Okay,
nice.
I love this.
Yeah.
By the way, loving the haircut. How fresh is that, my friend?
Haircut, bro. There's no hair. What do you mean haircut? Like it's just full bald. But yeah, it's refreshing. I like it. It's nice.
Listen,
Those are cheaper.
I want to quickly tell you just before you joined, you can see on the top of the screen it says preview. The last question in our preview section was who's going to win the spring splits and go to MSI. and pretty unanimous. Everyone says you guys are going to win. It's up to
Yeah.
you to make sure it becomes reality. The thing is, we each had a different second place. We had KC, we had Vitality, and I'm being a believer in HopEUm, and I'm going Navi. Who takes second this spring?
Ooh. I mean, it would be very interesting to see Navi take second. But realistically, I would say it's probably gonna be KC. Like, I do like Vitality. I think they're playing a really good League of Legends right now. But I just don't know how it's gonna go in playoffs. So my money would be, well, I would bet on KC. I think, if I had to guess.
God.
That makes sense.
Dude,
Before
I hope.
Kitty and
I mean, like,
have a conversation,
yeah, please.
Jake, you get the floor here. I don't know how often you get to just spend a bunch of time with G2. So how about you host this little portion of the show?
Okay, all right. First of all, first question: why not Vitality? Because, bro, this is like outside of you guys, the most exciting drafting team is Vitality, whether they enter it or not. And my biggest problem is, yeah, I might not believe as well, but surely this split is different. Don't you think the split is different with the dynamics of the team?
I mean, they do definitely look a lot better now. They look like they're very comfortable, especially playing around Naknako now. So I can see it, but something in my gut just tells me it's not gonna happen. I can't go into details, but it's just I've seen them like do well, and some of their early games look like
Something
very,
in my gut,
very
AK
interesting. You know?
scrims.
No,
Okay.
no, I can't.
Listen,
I can't do
Kitty,
more
you're
about
right,
that.
because Ramal will just share the numbers at the end of the split anyway. So we'll be
Yeah,
able to come back to this.
So we'll be covered.
No, but I do think they do have like I don't think it's as black and white that it's like Casey is above them very highly. I just think they're very close to each other. So there could be a world where Vitality comes second. It just really depends on their like playoffs run. They are locked top two, so
Yeah.
see who they choose if they choose us.
But you're super set. You're super set on like KC a second. You're not hitting because Trevor's dislike or no, it's not dislike. Sorry, I'm not going to throw you under the bus. Your talk down of like MCoy is weird for me because I think MCoy are going to be really good on the home turf on the weekend. I don't think MCoy is super bad. I don't think Elyoy is hitting. I think Mirwin's like cooking again. I still think Jojo is the best mid in the league. No flame to cap.
I'll jump into this. I like the fact that none of us brought up Koi as second place. I just think they look more volatile. And even though Casey maybe make more mistakes, I just have in my eyes, I have more confidence in how Casey look in officials than I do in Koi. Like my gut is telling me that Koi's mistakes are just worse than Casey's mistakes. And I wonder if with the pressure being so high and the fact that it is home turf, I don't know what's going to happen this weekend, but I don't see Koi making a deep run in playoffs this spring.
Yeah, I mean, you could also take like the past, right? With the KC and MCoy going to like semis and then go to 5 games and losing, etc. But I do think just like MCoy, when they're good, they're actually very good and they're very synergized and they actually look like one of the best teams. But that doesn't happen regularly. And it's just a matter of like whether they will actually show up in playoffs or not. But I think there's a higher chance that KC will be performing better. That's why I would say KC. And no disrespect to MCoy, right? Like, I think they're really good as well, and they've challenged us a lot. But the other teams are like very close. It's just Vitality. I have no idea like how they're gonna perform in playoffs. That's
no, I think no one does. We want to know, but I think no one knows how Vitality's gonna go.
Kitty, did I see you want to jump in there?
It's gonna be a box of chocolates. Yeah, I wanted to jump in there because one, that's 2KC, G2, because we're gonna get kicked off podcast if we don't. Someone save me. I'm lagging, Trevor.
I think you are lagging. I think you are lagging. I'll jump in really quick at this one because just before we maybe expand the conversation a little bit, Memento, my man, we go way back. Like I still remember Rocket days. I remember Giant days, and I'm quite happy to see Giant doing pretty well. Your name's pretty well. So I want you to know, I'm not gonna bullshit you, right? Jake was flaming the fuck out of you and G2 at the beginning of the show, man. Why did G2 shit the bed in the regular Hysterics? Sorry,
Hysterics. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. By the way, that is the greatest counter burn ever. Who is Jake?
True. Actually,
no, it's just I didn't know. There's no disrespect, honestly.
G2 suck in the regular season. G2 are so disappointing. This is the worst. Like this, Hysterics, bro. What the hell?
To be fair, even though you BS the first part, I did say that G2's regular season was kind of but you guys are on holidays. You come in, and here's my theory, and I want you to disprove it or correct it, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I reckon you come off a big event, like like first stand. You do really well. The guys go on holidays. I don't know what you do. I don't follow social media enough. I got off short form content, best thing I ever did. No cap. And as I stopped following social media, I came back to LEC, and then G2 plays. You know, you guys playing the way you do. And I feel like to you at the start of the split, it's just either experimenting or it's just getting back into the swing of things. And there's not pressure or there's not really these expectations internally that you have to perform at 100%. How close am I to this? That it's just, yeah, the second half of the split will ramp up and we'll get playoffs anyway, and that's when we'll take it a bit more seriously.
Okay, I will say before I joined G2, I had the same theory as you. So you're not like far off. I was like, oh yeah, they're mega chilling, it's just early, they don't care. But now that I'm here, I will tell you that like everyone is tryharding, but I think the realistic thing that is happening is we're coming off like first stand, right? And I think just the meta shifts, like when we come back and people will start actually understanding the meta, we were ahead of the meta just with
True.
the whole Seraphine Ash and everything there. And then we come back and everyone else has been just basically like practicing and they're just better than us, honestly. And we didn't really take like that long of a break. It was like 5-6 days, so it's not that big thing. But I think it's really just about like a little bit of experimenting. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna try out some picks and see what is actually good. Just try to find the next big thing. But I just think other teams just have like a better read and are just much more warmed up than us on the specific patch. And I guess hopefully teams are also studying us while we're at first stand and are ready to abuse us. So I think
That's
it's a
actually
mix
true.
of
That's a
those
good
things.
point as well.
Yeah.
Strong word.
I'm gonna quickly take
Okay.
Memento off the grill because I think we're going in on the G2 boys a little bit too hard here. But quickly, I
What?
did see that you
Wait, everything
recently.
is so diplomatic.
Well,
Where you going?
Well, you guys are trashing on Memento. It's because we've already
gonna
mentioned
win the
I feel pretty
split.
good.
in the
I
regular
got
slip.
nothing.
I
don't mind.
literally think
I'll save you, Memento. Don't worry.
Thank
I
you.
saw
Thank
that
you.
recently you tweeted that you hit 2,000 elo in chess. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh
I am
shit.
a
Yeah,
chess
and
noob.
you made like a whole huge paragraph about how there's correlation between League of Legends and chess, and I thought that was so interesting because I know there's a couple League of Legends players that are also chess enjoyers. A little birdie told me that Hans also plays a little bit of chess, and you brought up a concept that tempo is a huge correlation. Well, kind of a correlation between the two games. So,
Yeah.
can you expand on more chess nerds?
Well, I think like okay, the most simple explanation is just like in chess, you're either responding to your opponent or your opponent is responding to you, and that is like the term of just tempo. So whether I'm like threatening a checkmate, you probably need to respond to that first. And I think there's like a similar thing in League of Legends, whether it can be, let's just say the base race. That's the most basic thing that you could correlate it to. When there's a base race, the enemy team is just a bit faster, so you actually need to respond to them. And a lot of these situations happen as well in League of Legends. It can just be like one jungler bases first, so that means he will be able to make the first move. And that is like the same thing in chess. Like you're doing the first attack. So you can basically just force your opponent to respond to you. And that is basically just the tempo thing.
Can I jump in super quickly on this one, by the way? I really like the explanation, and I really want to expand a little bit on how chess can help in mentorship, coaching, the mentality side. But very quickly, for those of you who may not know, chess ratings, when you get to 2,000 rating, you are really fucking good. Okay, Magnus
just looked it
Carlsen,
up.
who is the greatest chess player of all time, his rating is 2840, and the difference from 1,900 to 2,000, 2,000 to 2,100, it gets almost exponentially harder, right? So to climb up that way is already huge. I had the pleasure of getting to talk to Magnus and to Tyler One at chess when I was at EWC. And I've never watched chess. I didn't know a lot about it. But what I found fascinating was the chess players' personalities and their confidence in what they were saying was so good because like they literally were always 4 steps ahead. I watched Magnus Carlsen make a joke about shooting down a falcon on stage in front of a very not Magnus Carlsen favorite crowd, and it was beautiful. So first of all, how do you find that like chess gameplay at the level that you're at? How can you correlate that and teach? Let's be frank. Let's be fair here. How can you teach Broken Blade and Caps because they're going to have very different approaches to that conversation?
As
How
a
I
non-chess player, can I quickly
yeah.
get an explanation between the elos in League of Legends ranks, please? So 2000,
Uh,
2400. Thank you.
He's-
This is to
okay.
help a girl out and helping anyone else out.
Yeah. Okay. So I think maybe 1,200 is like silver gold. I think it's like above average. 1,200.
Okay.
So maybe 1,500 would be maybe platinum, and then 1,700 emerald, and then around like 1,800, 1,900 diamond. Then I would say I'm like master tier. That's pretty
Yeah.
much it. So
Okay, thank you.
And then I think if you go like 2400 and above, you're probably then like the elite China server. Right. That's probably what that is. As you can tell, Memento has just frozen. So hopefully we'll get him to reconnect and come back in.
It was
But I
explaining
love
the
that
roles.
question.
That's what did it.
And that's also really good research, Kitty. Jake, thanks for playing with me on that one. I just had to set it up because he's going to take away that you're a dick.
I mean, look, he's gonna, and now the studio's never gonna be the same. I genuinely like, it's even because okay, it might sound weird, but pro players and talent at LEC share the same bathroom. You're coming back as I'm saying this. Great Memento, good timing.
what you're talking
I don't
about?
even-
But let's get back.
I
to
don't
We're
even-
really
anyways.
uniting over this.
Yeah,
Yeah. No. Okay. So where was I? I was talking about. Oh yeah, I'm terrible compared
After
to the
reload.
good players. That's what I was saying. It's like Magnus Carlsen's like challenger, rank 1 for like I don't know 20 years. This guy is like incredible. But yeah, that's the basic explanation of the elo.
The question is then, how does the strategy in chess, how can you correlate that to League of Legends? Like how,
Okay.
what's one of the takeaways?
I mean, I don't intentionally like try to correlate it that much. I just think they're separated games. But there are some like things. I think there's like one interesting thing, which is just theory in general, and that mostly comes down to just like top lane matchups or bot lane matchups. Where let's say the Rumble versus Cassandra, right? Like the Cassandra can actually push early, and Rumble is a bot. We used to play what is it? But basically, you can do this with any sort of matchup, and you can actually do a forced line. So basically, if you play in a certain way, you will always get the 3-way push, and then you can reset, and you just play around these, basically theorized matchups. Because I think a lot of the matchups have already been theorized, like what you're supposed to do in the first 3 waves. And if you play a certain way, you will always get the same recall. You will always be at the crab at the same time if you just play the same way. And if the opponent does something weird, then you'll probably be able to punish him. So that's how I would kind of correlate it to it.
I mean, something really interesting about both chess and League of Legends, and I think this applies to both, is recently there was a study that suggested League of Legends may improve specific cognitive skills, including attention span, working memory, and executive functions. So, what do you guys think about this? Yes or no? And
Strong
can you really
feelings.
feel it? If you're good in Challenger, if you're Challenger in League of Legends, are you Challenger in every other
Look,
game?
there's actually multiple studies. I want to make something clear. League of Legends is one of many games that gives you this type of thing. The study that you're referencing, I believe, was actually with Chinese students, if I recall correctly, because I think I read it as well. But as somebody that's been a lot of reading recently, and like I'm going to have a child that I'm going to raise, in a very digital household, I read a bunch of stuff that people who are nearly my age, who are around my age, I'm 39, I turn 40 in August next year. I don't
You're
know
also
how
an
old I am.
August baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, December. It's a
August
Christmas
Nation
baby. Sorry.
rise.
When I say Christmas baby, do the math, folks.
I do the math. Yeah. very much.
But the thing that I wanted to mention is that people who are in their 40s who played on like Game Boy Colors and played Pokemon and things like that, they grew up to become very more cognitively aware and understanding different things. So 100% agree. And I definitely want to raise my kids playing games because it helps in those things. We asked at the very beginning of the show about kids. Hysterics is very recently a dad. Memento, do you want to be a dad?
Yeah, for sure. It's just maybe not right now, but for sure want to be a parent at some point.
Quick question, because you're much closer. How many players or coaches or staff are actually dads that you're aware of in League of Legends?
Oh, I mean, I know Giotto. I know. Wait, who else? I think it's mostly the coaches that are dads. Wait, is there a player that's a dad as well?
Melzet was last year, I think.
Yeah,
I know
Melzet last
Perks,
year.
I mean, like Perks doesn't play anymore, but he was dad as well. So that's yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Okay, yeah.
It's good luck. Good luck, I will say.
Thank you.
Eventually
You
becoming
mean
a
that
dad
I
one day.
want to become a dad, or when you
That
say
you
good
will.
luck,
That
is
you
that-
will.
Okay.
You'll be an
Just-
amazing
I'm
dad.
just
You'll
making
be
sure
an
you're not like
amazing
burning me.
dad.
Okay. Thank you.
Teach some chess.
I want
holy.
to go down the line. I'll start. Memento will be the last one, and I want you to react. The question I'm going to ask everybody is LEC stronger in spring than it was in Versus? And I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that I think teams like Vitality and KC have stepped up. I think seeing how they've adapted, I still have hope that Koi are going to still be competitive. And I think Navi is just stronger than Versus. So in comparison to the very beginning of the year, where frankly I thought everybody was like really bad, now I think the level has increased, and I think it's increased quite a lot. I'm going to ask Kitty, then Jake, then Memento.
I mean, it's normal for the teams, well, some of the teams to look a bit more scrappy at the start of the year because we had some pretty big major roster changes for specifically KC. You see Vitality having new players come in as well. And that team synergy does take time and a lot of practice to build up on. And we are seeing the payoff in Split 2. So I'm not really surprised. However, you also have teams like MKOI and G2 that decided to go with their original roster from back in 2025. So I think it is a very interesting comparison, but I also do think the format being different from best of ones to best of threes really show the teams that are consistent and good will stay at the top.
Is that a yes, Kitty? Or a no?
Yeah.
What did you give it? Was it yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, shush. I think the problem that we have in this split is obviously the format is tight around certain areas. Like KC are going to play the rest of their bulk in week 7. They didn't play anything in week 6. So it's really hard to tell, but I think our top 6 is stronger. A lot stronger, more competitive. I will say with the adversity of Shifters, who recently Memento, before you came in, I was talking up Shifters because I think their last week is really good. I think at the roadshow they were good. I think Cher coming in, like if they perform like that, I mean, they could be a top 4, top 6 team next split. Just saying.
Oh, you dialed that one back. You dialed that one back.
I did.
Top 3 next
Dude,
split.
Rooster is like a top 3 top laner at the moment. Easy. I have no problem saying that. Anyway, I think top 6 is more competitive, so yes. And as Kitty kind of pointed out, the best of 3 has made it so that teams with more more unique drafts can flourish, especially in a meta that's changing. And remember, we just went to 26.9. So like there's a lot cooking that's going to be happening in playoffs as well. So those teams that adapted quicker, which weirdly enough, I'm going to say Shifters again, kind of adapted well for show for the meta. But yeah, I think there's a lot more strength this split, and I think Vitality leveled up. I think KC still look good. I think Navi getting back to playing around Relech, and then like G2 ramping up as always with Ginex getting less caught in side lanes in the mid game. So yeah, and then Koi is a bit of an enigma, but still like, yeah, long con, yes.
Okay. A short answer, yes. That's pretty much it. I think yes, teams. I will go with the Kitty take because I think that's just true. Because I think that yes, whenever there is like a new roster, it takes quite a while to just find your own identity of how you actually want to play the game. So I think naturally the teams will be a lot weaker in the or LEC versus, and ramping up like throughout spring. I think people have like most of the teams have found their identity of how they actually want to play the game. I think Navi has actually just committed to playing around Rylak, and that's giving them like a lot of success, just in general. And I think also KC, they were a new roster, but now they're starting to play a lot more on top lane, and especially with the new meta, which is being these carry top laners as well. So yeah, I just think the teams naturally will progress and become better throughout the year. There are some teams, I will say summer, I'm not sure. We might be weaker because then some teams regress, and then they start going down. So, but for now, I will say the league overall has become stronger from my point of view.
Yep.
Kitty, final
And I
thoughts?
also do want to quickly bring it back to what I said earlier because G2 is one of the rare LEC rosters that decided to keep their same original 5 players from 2025. And I am aware that you guys do this really cute thing. It's not date night, it's called one-on-one dinners with every single player, staff, and it's something that Roma pretty much assigned every person on the entire G2 org for League of Legends. And I'm aware that you guys are planning it once a week. So I was wondering if Memento had any cute stories of any moments that you could share with us or any restaurants that you could recommend for the fans.
Yeah, I don't know if I can recommend restaurants. I like Italian places, so we usually go to like a lasagna place. But yeah, it was something that was introduced in December on our first boot camp, and Romain had this great idea of just like the players and the staff should just get to know each other a lot better. And the best way to get to know each other is just by sitting one-on-one and having a dinner. I will say tomorrow I actually have Hansama, so he's my next dinner. Hopefully he takes
Out
me
of
somewhere
Ooh.
nice.
out
So
He's
of
going on a
interest,
date and he didn't tell me.
yeah,
how
but
valuable?
but it's nice.
You know what? Some it'll be really good. Some it'll be really. I missed that. I
Mm.
apologize. That's really good. So something that I think would be
Yeah.
really interesting, maybe for a lot of our viewers. Um, how much value do you get, or how do you explain the value of getting to know somebody, whether it's a player, whether it's a member of staff, in this way? Because it's not something that I think like non-sports people, non-competitive people can even really understand.
I mean personally I think it's like huge value. Just overall like getting closer to the players and your staff, and you usually talk about something interesting, you know, like if you're sitting in a one-on-one setting, eventually something interesting will come up, you know. You'll talk about
Mm.
something and you'll probably bond over that, and maybe something about what we do at work, you know. We'll have an idea that we probably wouldn't have been able to share, you know, in a group setting, or we didn't think that was the right time to do it. And if there is something else you want to mention to the other person, like, oh, by the way, I really like that you do this, or maybe you can help me out with this, it just comes like, it's just new what do you call it, new opportunities to talk with another person. And I think that's just, yeah, I think it's very valuable because now I feel
And,
closer, I guess, to the players and also the staff. It's just you can talk more freely with them.
and you said they choose the restaurant. So this is because you kind of alluded to the fact that Hans is going to pick the restaurant tomorrow night, right?
No, we pick. It's a you know,
Oh,
it's a team effort, you know. But I'll probably
Have
suggest
you guys
Italian. He'll
decided
say
what type
yes,
of
and we'll go. You know, like
cuisine?
that's. I
All
like
jokes
Italian.
aside,
I like Italian.
for anybody
Italian.
Hysterics Memento, if you guys want recommendations, let me know. Seriously, I've lived in Berlin for 10
Yeah.
years. I go to a lot of restaurants. I'll Memento, I'll DM you an Italian recommendation. It's going to be a little bit of a travel, but there's one near Alexanderplatz that's insane. It's really, really good.
Dude, send it to me as
Okay,
well.
sure.
15
Okay.
minutes for me. I'm in
Okay.
Prenzlauer Berg. Like it's not far.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. I like
I've got some really good Thai recommendations for you, Hysterics.
Oh, okay. I do
Um,
have one story though. I can tell
Go
you.
for it.
It
Yeah.
was actually
Oh,
in
one
December
funny
when we
story?
first did. Oh well, it's not a funny story, but I actually ended up having one of those dinners on my birthday, which was 20th of December. So Rodrigo took me out and he took me to a nice restaurant. It was very nice. It was
Oh,
kind of
that's
cool.
lovely.
Aw, that's so
It's very
sweet.
That's
I'm
nice.
very
aware this all
sweet.
was
Yeah.
Rodrigo's
Yeah.
birthday yesterday, so happy birthday
Yeah, it
to
was
him as
yesterday,
well.
but it was on an off day, so unfortunately I couldn't take him out. You know, like I'll make it up to him.
So you get one day.
Never too late.
It's
We
too late.
we normally talk a little bit about anime right at the end of an episode, but because I don't have a huge amount of time before I start to say goodbye to everybody, I want to do something different instead. If you could go on date night with absolutely any League of Legends player in the history of League of Legends, and you could speak their language, you can communicate fluently.
Okay,
Who
okay.
would be your
Yep.
one person you'd go on date night with, Memento?
Oh, okay. So the normal response would probably be Faker, but I think I would choose Profit, which no one obviously knows who that is. That's my old teammate. That guy disappeared on the like, I don't know where he is, but he has disappeared. He doesn't answer my DMs or whatever. Whenever I go to Korea, I never see him. But I would like to sit down and talk with him again because he taught me a lot just about the game in general. And yeah, I would sit with him.
Beautiful answer, Jake. Same question. Who would be your date night,
Um,
all time, any language?
I mean, easy for me. When I first joined LPL, it was after IG won Worlds. It's like this is a classic answer. I have seen the Shy 5 times. He has said hello to me. I got a photo with him. I could speak basic Mandarin, and he could like his Mandarin was like B1 level at the time. I saw him in I think 2023 when Kitty. Remember that photo we got? I think Nymera took the
Yeah.
photo. And like I would speak with the Shy for ages because he's a really nice guy. He seems really genuine, and he has been the best top laner to ever do it, in my opinion. I think that can never be beaten, and he's just a baller. So like I look up to him as a top lane main as well. I look up to him as someone who I think kind of reinvented the wheel of what top lane could be, and especially at the time. So the Shy is so easy. I love that guy.
Kitty.
I want to quickly vouch. Hysterics' Chinese is actually really legit for someone that is
And
completely
I'm learning
foreign.
it again
I
randomly in Berlin.
was so impressed when Hysterics was genuinely communicating to a lot of the Chinese colleagues that we had in Shanghai, and I was like, wait, Hysterics is in a really Chinese era of his life right now.
Totally.
For
Yeah.
me, my player would be, this is gonna be a shocker, guys. I know.
Mhm.
I would go on a date night with Hans Sama. Purely because
Whoa.
he is the best
No.
European ADC to have the
Oh my-
am I allowed to say best track record? Maybe hot take. Yeah, date night with Hans Sama. No
Good
That's
explanation
choice.
very-
needed.
Good choice.
Or it's handsome.
Let's go with one that's a bit more believable because there's no ways in hell you could ever get a date night with Hans Sama. So what would be your
True.
second choice, then, hypothetically? I won't.
I mean,
I won't
he's
do that. I
going
won't.
on a date night with Memento, so yeah, I'm second
I'll
place.
send,
It's okay. It's okay. We'll make it up for it.
Do a
another
selfie. Do a
time.
selfie.
Yeah.
I'll give you
I'll-
the
Yeah, do a
recommendation for the
selfie.
restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, we always do
Info right
selfies.
now.
We always do selfies. We have to.
I'm torn, but I also am going LPL. And if I could have a historical dinner with anybody that would just be interesting to talk about, I think Uzi would be number one
Yeah.
because I'd love to
nice.
just pick his brain. I'd love to get to know, what was it, the Mad Dog, I think
Yep.
was the nickname, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. Like, who is the guy behind the Mad Dog? How is he as a human being, without lights, without anything? The second thing is, if I could do one today, I'd love to have dinner with Bin and just ask him how he feels about dumpstering Europe and
Oh,
specifically
wow. Okay,
G2
I'm outta here.
so many times. Like, that would just be, for me personally, just like, how is it from the other side? Because we always feel the pain, and it'd be somebody
I could ask the Shy that as well, actually. Good
Right,
point.
there we go. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to start to say our goodbyes. Kitty, what are you up to this week? Where can our audience find you?
So I am going to be co-streaming the LPL and LCP as always, covering those two regions daily starting from tomorrow. So I'll see you guys over on Twitch, and you guys can follow any of my Instagram socials. I think I have literally every social known to mankind. So just search Kitwi and I'll be there.
Jake, Hysterics.
Hopefully getting my Meta Merchants podcast off the ground, which is purely about meta and nothing else. We'll see if that actually, with some regional experts. Outside of that, probably getting back into streaming once I'm feeling a little bit better. Maybe some old school RuneScape. I don't know. Honestly, I've put that on pause for a
Respect.
couple of months, but that might end up coming back. And then outside of that, I am going to Madrid on Friday to cast Saturday, which I mean is the KCM Koi Day, which the regional rivalry should be fun.
Huge.
And then warming up for playoffs because
Are you doing both
playoffs
series
are
on the
gonna be
Saturday?
so good. Both series on the Saturday, yeah, because one pair does double best of 3. Oh, yeah, because there's also a show match. So I think Medic and Finn are doing the show match first, and then
So then
we're
the
doing
question
the
is,
series.
on the Saturday series, does G2 win?
I mean, bro, what do you think I'm gonna say? I'm on a G2
Listen.
podcast.
Yeah, trust me, I'm not nice to them here. I'm not nice to the team here at all, dude.
Oh, you're
So,
not? I mean,
No,
dude,
no.
I mean, I still think GX are outside the top 4, so I could easily put G2 above them.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. Memento, give us one last little
Yep.
thing for the G2 Army and everybody. How is next weekend going to go in Madrid?
I have high hopes. Things have been going well recently, and I think they can be hopeful that it will be a good performance from our side.
I like
Hopefully,
that.
some
Very
people
measured
we will see some
response.
fans there too as well. It's a very cool
Yeah.
event overall, so I'm excited for it.
Tickets are still available from what I understand. So if you're in Madrid or around, grab some. Kitty, Hysterics, Memento, thank you so much for joining. You guys can
Thank
drop
you.
from the call.
Thank you.
You can drop from Discord. And I got one last segment to wrap up the show. So goodbye to the three of you. For everyone else, stick around. Massive, massive thank you to Memento, to Hysterics, and to Kitty for joining us for another episode of HopEUm. As always, you know that we are on YouTube. We are on Twitch. We are on Spotify. Please, please, please do like, do comment, do subscribe